Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and it is morphing time. We are taking a look at from the Walmart exclusive Mighty Morphin Power Rangers retro morphing figures. These are figures that are new sculpt construction from Hasbro that is an recreation of the vintage Bandai morphing Power Ranger figures, which were one of the last things Bandai reissued before they lost the license to Hasbro. Well, they didn't lose it; it was sold, whatever, positive things. But yeah, so here we have Jason, Zach, Billy, and Kimberly. Austin St. John, Amy Jo Johnson, who frankly I think has become the most successful actor to be on Power Rangers, at least from the original cast. And unfortunately, I can't remember the names of the other two actors, but I'm just impressed that I can remember their, real names. Now, Austin St. John, I remember, is because after Power Rangers, he actually comes from a family of service, so he went ahead and became an EMT. So that's kind of cool. I'm sure you guys all know the history behind Power Rangers and why cast members left and were replaced and things of that nature. But I think by now everybody's made up, etc., etc. So yeah. Now, from the neck down, all these figures are the same. Same body, same articulation. The gimmick works the same way. Now, we're going to use Jason here as an example of what's going on. Each figure comes with their power blaster. Now, the blaster does not transform into the sword, but it does have a holster that it can fit in. And this is accurate to the original figures. And if you think about it, in 1993, action figures coming with holsters or sheaths for their weapons, kind of cool. The Rangers also come with their individualized power weapon. Jason has the power sword. Zach has the power axe, which also doubles as a larger blaster for him. Kimberly has the power bow, and Billy has the power staff. Now, if you notice, we're actually missing one of the Rangers in its primary color goodness, and that's Trini, the Yellow Ranger, played by the late, great Thuri Lang. Unfortunately, that figure, as well as the Green Ranger, were not part of this first wave. I don't know why. I can understand wanting to split things up or whatever, but at least the Yellow Ranger should have been included, since, as I'm sure most of you are aware, the power weapons combine into one super weapon called the Power Blaster. I have heard that they are a company, that they're going to be part of Wave 2, so keep an eye out on that. Now, I should also mention that all the weapons are actually made with rather firm plastic, which is a different plastic than what's here with made on the body. The torsos are, that heavy-duty, what I would say normal toy plastic. The limbs are made with a softer rubberized plastic, which kind of at times makes it feel like you're bending the joint. You're bending the limb instead of bending the joint. Now, here's Jason's head. There's a little bit of a lever here on the back, which is different than the original toy where you would press on the morpher. And by pressing on that switch, the head flips around and you get the helmeted head of the Tyrannosaurus and the Red Ranger. Let me tell you, gimmicks like this, these were all the rage in the late 80s into the early 90s with the flip changing and all that stuff. Why I have him, we'll talk about the articulation. You have a universal joint here at the shoulder, so it can go out and rotate. You can rotate at the elbow, and you have roughly a 90-degree bend at the elbow. But as I've mentioned, because of that type of plastic used, it is a little tight. There is no rotation at the forearm or wrist. which is kind of a bummer. But with at the elbow, you can get some decent sword swinging articulation. Coming down to the hips is, again, you have that universal joint at the hip, so it means the legs can go out very far for those Super Sentai Power Ranger type kicks. You forward and back, but you do have that gaping T crotch, which is which was standard on the old most of the DC Classics figures. Single joint bend at the knee, that's about all you get, so less than 90 degrees, and you do rotate at the knee joint. So there is some articulation. Now, I do want to mention the original Bandai toys. Pin joints at the elbows and knees. So the fact that Hasbro is doing a pinless joint is very nice. And of course, on the reissues, I don't know about the originals, the human head could rotate, but on these, neither head can rotate. Give you a little close-up there of the power sword, but yeah, fun little figure that works quite well. Again, Kimberly, same articulation. There's the power bow, which, along with Zack's power axe, forms the crux of the power blaster. Press the lever, and there's the helmeted head, which basically means now this is the Japanese stunt double, if you know how Power Rangers works, and it's the pterodactyl. Coming back to Billy, very nice shade of blue. I like this shade of blue, and I do like how they work the glasses in. The power staff can split in two, as it did in the cartoon, but we press the button, and there's the Triceratops head. And tell me in the comments if for a few years after Power Rangers you had a hard time saying these dinosaur names without screaming them out like they did on the show. Now here's Zack, and one thing I want to talk about with Zack is, as I've mentioned, he has the power axe. Now the power axe is a double weapon. It's blaster like this, and the handguard is actually the axe blade. Problem I have is that the barrel is very wide, and I kind of felt like I was stretching the plastic far in the hand to really get it in. So that's why I have him holding it like this. But he can hold the axe properly. Really, you only have that one spot right there because you have all these little doobs and dabs to secure the other weapons on. Basically, the clip here for the power sword, and then here for the power bow. And yes, even though it's a hard plastic, it is a little warped, but it's not too bad. So I just wanted to mention that. And for his little flip, there's the mastodon head. And on his head, I gotta be honest, it kind of looks like he's looking down, and he's got like this like really demented little smirk on his face. But who knows? But there's that. And I'm going to keep his weapon separate since we're going to pause, and then we're going to come back and I'll show you how to make what you can of the power blaster. Okay, before we begin, one thing I wanted to mention is I did mention that the Black Ranger's axe, I'm worried about stressing the hand. They could have done what they did here with the Blue Ranger's power staff, where you tapered the shaft here a little bit, and it makes it easier to go in. But I do appreciate, Triceratops, three-pointed staff, pterodactyl, bow, looks like wings. But anyway, we're going to start off. You're going to take the power axe here, and you're going to turn it on its side. And then what you want to do is come in and just drop the bow in between right there. There's like a little notch that it will actually help center it. I don't think it pegs in all the way, but just like that. And then what you can do is take the power sword, come in over the top, and that will clip into the back here on the stock. Just like so. I mean, there's no real instructions on the packaging, but I don't think you want the tip sticking out that much farther. And then if you come underneath, you should notice there are 2 sets of clips on each edge of the bow. Now, obviously, that second set is going to be for the Yellow Ranger's daggers, but we don't have that yet, so we have to just rely on the Blue Ranger's power staff, which you pull a half like this. You can also use it, individually handed like that, and with the blades of the staff flush against the body of the power axe, gonna clip those in just like so. So it'll look like that. Do it again on this side. And yep, this is how the instructions, by the way, have it shown. This is the completed, for now, power blaster. I only remember seeing this a couple times in the show, because I did watch a few episodes, even though I wasn't that big of a Power Ranger fan. And I wonder if it was only because it only showed up in the Japanese animation at the time. I mean, it was a nice way how they would have it all come together, but, here we have Red Ranger, and since he was the leader of the team, he was the one who would primarily use it, so in the hand it goes. You bring it up just like that, and straighten this out a little. See if it's trying to get it straight on. I mean, the way the hands are molded, it's a little off. And bring the camera back, and there you go. Nice big, well, not too big, but it's a fun blaster. And to be honest with you, I would love to see Hasbro come along and maybe do a Nerf version. The power sword, the daggers, the staff can all be done much like they did those melee weapons in the in their Nerf line. The various zombie strike and defender lines and what have you. And then I would say that the power axe can maybe even go rival. I think that would be kind of cool. So here you have the Rangers would be lined up behind the Red Ranger. Unfortunately, because of the way the hand grabs the blaster, it is going to be on a little bit of an angle. But yeah, not bad. Let me see if I can really fix that up. Nah, it's just that's just how it is. I mean, I just do a little. Well, if you have them half whole, like twist it around in the hand, but there you go, the power blaster, or close to it, formed up, ready to go, and you can just blast the monster of the week into oblivion if they didn't want to show the Zords combining, or if it was early in the fight and you get rid of the small version, and then Rita makes the big guy grow. But yeah, I think these are actually kind of fun figures. I mean, they're actually a little bit like a fidget figure. You just sit there in your chair, flipping it around. I mean, I put a video of me and the Red Ranger, like 10 seconds of just flipping it around, up on Instagram. And it's the most viewed thing, most liked picture or video I've put up on Instagram. Which, if you're not following, it's ChuckDog1999. Same as the channel. So, yeah, I mean, these are popular. Now, I know there's some debate among Power Ranger fans that the original series isn't as popular as newer series, but sales figures don't lie, and the stuff from the Mighty Morphin era sells. I know as of this recording, yesterday was the Pulse the Pulse event, Hasbro Pulse Fest or whatever, and they revealed that they're doing the second season Power Rangers, or third season but in their like metallic armor designs. So they've kind of by that point, the Red Ranger, Black Ranger, and Yellow Ranger, Austin St. John, Thuri Lang, and the actor who played Zack had left the show, as well as the Pink Ranger, Amy Jo Johnson. So they were replaced. So you now have the new actors' heads. The Pink Ranger had come out already. So you can get those, and those look pretty cool. Billy was still around for at least a little bit longer. But yeah. But let's just pause for a moment. This is like 1993. To have figures in this scale with universal shoulders, universal hips, elbows, and knees was almost unheard of. A lot of the figures in this scale at that time were fixed posed, limited articulation. So for Bandai to come out with that, which by the way, they were doing that for years in Japan. So for these to come out like that, incredible. And hit the Red Ranger there. And I'm knocking things around. But to have this, it was like a real game changer. It was real. I think it was when people started waking up to what exactly was going on in Japan toy wise, and how a lot of the things they had were a lot cooler than what we had. But for Hasbro to go and faithfully recreate it, not well, I shouldn't say faithfully. They changed the gimmick around, but I mean, sure, there could have been some other updates. They could have used the real scan technology so we have the accurate actor heads. But, I mean, I can't complain. As I mentioned, these are Walmart exclusives. They are being sold on HasbroPulse.com, but the Pink Ranger was sold out. And in fact, when I ordered these off of Walmart.com, there was only one Pink Ranger left. A little schmutz there on the chest. And she actually had to come separate. And really went through a tour of the Southwest, including going to Navajo Nation. So yeah. Definitely, these are fun figures. They're worth it. I mean, if you just want to try the gimmick, buy one. But for me, I like having the combining aspect of the blaster, so I'll definitely be picking up at least the Yellow Ranger. And I've always liked Jason David Frank. I mean, I'm surprised back in the day Bischoff or Vince McMahon never gave him a phone call and he didn't have a wrestling career, because that guy oozed charisma and had like great physical presence and was a talented martial artist. Could have drawn money anywhere. But definitely out. So I'll be picking up those two. And who knows, they might go forward. They might actually reissue the original, or do a redo like they've done here of the original Power Ranger figures, which I think actually had a little bit more articulation as well as rotating heads. They just didn't have the face changing gimmick. But then again, I know there's that Amazon set with the basic Red Ranger, so that might count. It would be nice if we can get, the rest of the team like that. But anyway, again, I'm a little bit of rambling, but fun figures, a great throwback to the 90s. This gives you an idea of where, we're coming out of the 80s, we're going into the 90s, technology is getting a little bit better, and we're starting to see more of what's going on in Japan. So that's about it for the review. If you like this review, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. While I appreciate the views, the likes, comments, and subscriptions help communicate to YouTube through their algorithms that my channel is one that should be exalted, held upon high, and promoted. If you want to make the ultimate sign of support, please consider joining my Patreon. It is www.patreon.com/ChuckDog1999. No thrills, no tears, no special rewards. All you're doing is helping me help you to help me help you bring figures like this to you. Now, as I always say, if you can't do the $1 a month or $12 a year, your views are more than enough support, and I do appreciate it. Now, normally I would have a card here in the corner, but as I've mentioned in other reviews, YouTube went ahead and changed the way that their layout of the uploader on the YouTube website, and for whatever reason, putting the card in doesn't work anymore. So, I don't know. Every once in a while, I try to FOTS with it to figure it out, but whatever. So yeah, but again, as I always say, your views are the most support that I could ever ask for. Been doing this for over 10 years now. We're closing in, I think, on 3,700 subscribers, and I appreciate each and every single one of you. So that's about it for the Red Ranger, Blue Ranger, Black Ranger, and Pink Ranger. Jason, Billy, Zach, and Kimberly. It's your old pal Chuck, And we will see you next time.